How's it going, everyone? Thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. My name is Swanee, and for today's Helldivers 2 update video, I'm going over the final update from the developers before the big patch goes live tomorrow, and they talked about buffing the 500 kg bomb. The Eagle 500 kg bomb explosion radius is now increased to match the visuals better, and here's the video that the developers posted about the change.
The 500 kilo bomb radius.
It's back, baby. No, wait. It never was here.
Ah.
It is now what it's supposed to be.
The 500 kilo bomb radius is as the visual explosion says that it should be. So it'll blow up a lot of enemies.
Big booms should boom big.
Okay.
So after hearing this, I'm even more excited now because I've been wanting this to be changed since release. I've always felt that the 500 kg bomb has been underwhelming, especially the past couple months where they've buffed some of the other stratagems, like the Orbital Precision Strike is just way better than the 500 kg bomb. So for a lot of people, the 500 kg bomb has kind of been put on the back burner. So hopefully with this larger explosion radius, it's actually going to feel like a bomb now. So if there's a huge bug nest or a Bile Titan or just a large group of enemies, it can take out multiple at the same time. So I cannot wait to test this out, and if the explosion radius is as big as I'm hoping, then this is probably going to be one of my favorite stratagems in the entire game now. So to briefly summarize all of the changes that are coming in this update that have been confirmed throughout the past week from the developers, if you want to go back and see each individual video, we made a video for each of these changes this week and gave our thoughts and opinions on all those. But for a quick rundown, they've announced 7 different changes coming in this update, and there's many more changes that are going to be announced tomorrow. But the first thing they announced last week was that they were buffing flamethrowers by 33%. So fire damage is going to be a lot stronger now. They originally nerfed it in the escalation of freedom, and it made a lot of people angry, and now that's getting reverted, so that's got a lot of people excited. The second change that they announced was the railgun. They are increasing it from 60 to 225, and the overcharge damage will be increased from 150 to 250%. So the railgun is going to just absolutely annihilate things again like it used to. The third thing they talked about was the breaker shotgun. They're bringing the breaker shotgun back to what it used to be before they nerfed it, so now it's going to hold more ammo and it's going to have increased stagger force. So if you were originally a fan of the breaker shotgun, now it's going to finally be useful again. Then they talked about how they were nerfing some enemies. They talked about how they're changing the rocket devastators. The rocket devastators will now have a limited number of rockets, so you can see that the rockets are going to disappear once they run out of ammo, and then they can reload one time. So if you're going up against a rocket devastator, it's probably best if you take cover, because once they run out of ammo, then it's safe to take them out. So that's a huge nerf that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. And then just a couple days ago, they announced that the Eruptor Shrapnel is back. So the Eruptor is going to be close to as good as it was when it originally released. It's not going to be as powerful as launch Eruptor, but it's going to be close. It's going to get that shrapnel back, and the explosion radius is increased by 33%. So if there's a large group of bugs or a large group of like robots, you can take out multiple enemies at the same time with the Eruptor. So this is a big change to the Eruptor, and it's going to make a lot of people happy. And then yesterday they announced the Arc Thrower is getting a buff. They increased the range from 35 to 55, and then the durable damage is increased from 50 to 100. So the Arc Thrower is getting a massive buff. It's going to be stronger than it originally was before they nerfed it. So this is a huge buff for the Arc Thrower. And then of course today they announced the 500 kg bomb changes. So that's a recap of everything that has been officially confirmed by the developers over this past week. So the next thing I want to talk about is that we as a community unlocked the Orbital Napalm Barrage, and this is currently my #1 favorite stratagem in the game. It is amazing. The Orbital Napalm Barrage will just completely level bug nests. It will completely just annihilate automaton bases. If there are any enemies anywhere near this barrage, it's going to kill all of them. Especially if you drop it on like a big bug breach or something, you're going to get so many kills. The only thing the Orbital Napalm Barrage can't do is blow up factories, and even still, I can cut it some slack there, because if it could blow up factories, I think it would just be completely overpowered. So there has to be some sort of downside to the Orbital Napalm Barrage. So if you're a new or returning player, make sure you go and test this out for yourselves. It's by far the best barrage in the game, and easily one of the best stratagems in the game. It is just so much fun to use. and I'm glad we finally unlocked it. And then next up, there was a post from Twinbeard, one of the community managers over on Discord earlier this morning that I thought was interesting that I wanted to bring up before tomorrow's update. This is in response to somebody asking about all the game-breaking bugs that are in the game and if any of those are getting squashed in this update. And Twinbeard says that there aren't that many frequent game-breaking bugs left, but of course the experience between players will differ some. We recently, for the so-called 60-day plan, went through the known issues and bugs list and made an updated priority list for them, so they're being worked on and ticked off the list as we speak. Even if not all of them will be fixed right away, of course. Also, if you're having issues, I know how frustrating that can be. So that's kind of bad news that there's not going to be too many bug fixes in this update. I know there's still a lot of bugs and glitches in this game, so I'm kind of confused as to what he's talking about here. I know that there's still enemies that can shoot through rocks constantly. That's a big issue. The biggest issue lately people have been having is the not being able to play with your friends. I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, I still cannot play with my group of 4 friends. A couple weeks ago, it was completely fine, but this past, I don't know, 2 weeks, anytime me and my friends all try to play with each other, it will just not let somebody join unless somebody backs out. So like 3 people can play, we can't get the 4th person. Basically, the matchmaking has been messed up the past couple of weeks. I've seen a lot of people talk about it in Reddit and stuff. It's currently a pretty big issue, and you know, hopefully fingers crossed that that kind of stuff gets fixed. But according to Twinbeard, it doesn't look like there's going to be too many bug fixes in this update. So take that as you will. And then the next thing I want to bring up is the player count has been steadily rising every single day this past week since Arrowhead has been announcing all of these buffs. If you take a look at the Steam charts, the 24-hour peak is sitting around 29,000 players now, and if you take a look over the past week, it's been slowly climbing. The daily lows are getting a lot higher, and the daily highs are getting a lot higher. At one point this past week, the lowest of the lows was sitting around 5,000 active players, which is pretty bad, but since they've announced all these buffs, the highest high is sitting around close to 30,000 players, which is awesome, and the update's not even out yet. Like, just so many people are hyped about this update that they're starting to come back and, you know, practice the game in preparation for tomorrow's update. So I just wanted to point that out. I think that's really cool. I'm glad that the player base is starting to come back. I knew that players would come back to this game because there's a lot of people that really love this game deep down and they want it to succeed. It's just, you know, there's been other games come out. A lot of people are fed up with all the nerfs and the lies from the developers. And now that the devs are finally listening, if this update is a big hit, I feel like, you know, we could see maybe close to 100,000 players return to this game. You know, fingers crossed. And then speaking of the update, I wanted to quickly go over my plans for this week for the channel. Tomorrow is patch day, and there's a lot of patch notes that's going to be coming out. There's a lot of things that are in the patch notes that weren't announced by the developers. So the plan is that Cookie is going to make a patch note video for you guys, so that will be up as soon as possible tomorrow. Meanwhile, I will be testing out the update, and I will have a couple videos go out this week. I'll have a video about all the primary weapon changes, and then I'll probably have a separate video for most of the stratagem changes, and then I plan on maybe doing a separate review video of just the update in general. And then on Thursday, the new War Bond comes out, and I will be testing and showing off everything that comes in the new War Bond, so I'll be testing out those new stratagems, and I'll let you guys know as soon as possible my thoughts on those. So if you guys are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications, that way you don't miss out on any future Helldivers 2 videos. If you made it this far into the video, consider hitting the thumbs up button. It's greatly appreciated and it helps me out in the algorithm. And that is going to do it for everything in today's video, guys, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.